I wanted to pick your brain a little bit and get your insights into a problem that I see over and over again. And before I ask the question, which I know we've already talked about before, I want to kind of give a little background of how I come to it. So I'm in the agency space, right? So I have lots and lots of consultation calls every week with people that I either have a potential to work with. A lot of times, people I know I'm not going to work with. I'm just trying to help them out and get them in the right direction. But I have a ton of strategy calls, and one of the things I always ask is like, what do you think is the biggest problem holding you back from hitting the next level in your business? And I would say for me, it's about like 99% of the time, it's one of two answers. It's either I don't know how to get leads and customers is option A, which is something that I directly help with. And the other one is I got all the customers I can deal with, but I can't get good employees. And that's kind of what I wanted to pick your brain about. I hear this all the time, and I know you've heard it too, is that, a lot of contractors get stuck in that single man or maybe small crew, like 2, 3, 4, 5 men, and they cannot break through. And you probably heard the same complaints, like I can't find good workers. No one wants to put in a good day's labor. Everyone expects to get paid like $1,000 an hour, and they're not worth anything. Like there's just this constant, repetitive slew of these questions and concerns and around hiring. And what's interesting to me is, and you're one of the leaders in the space, and why I wanted you to kind of talk about this is I see your company and you're constantly scaling. I see people like Bradley Ellison and you're constantly scaling and you're hiring. I see people like Tanner and you're constantly scaling and hiring. So what I really wanted to pick your brain at is like, what do you think is the thing that person that's stuck between the 1-man crew to the 5-man crew, why can't they break through to that next level and find, train, and retain great people? And that's really what I wanted to chat with you about today, man.
Oh, Micah, listen, I've dedicated my life to this. You know this. So
I
all
know,
I
I
have
know,
are data
I
and
know.
feelings. So here's the deal. There's gonna be there's gonna be things that I say that come off as very harsh, but are absolutely true. They have been said to
Mm-hmm.
me, they have been true, and they've really centered me, which is this is hard.
Yeah.
And the reason people can't get that past is because they stop after the things either get done for them or are easy. The second there's a piece of friction, they stop and blame it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Um,
I see that.
one one macro, like taking 10 steps back from this entire conversation, is something that's really helped me like understand sometimes the pain and the friction of this is hard. There's only two things separating us as entrepreneurs from anybody doing what we do and making a lot of money, flooding the market and making running this business mute, right? Is our ability to solve labor and leads. That is literally our jobs as entrepreneurs. And if
I
anybody
I,
else
I,
could do this
I
for
agree
us,
with that.
if there was a company out there, if there was a company that stood outside of the painting industry and said, for X amount of dollars, I will give you as many leads and as many labors as you want, then guess what? There's no barrier to entry. And, there's no reason, there's no return on this industry then. Everybody could just do it, right? And so I will say this, if this feels hard, it is. If sometimes you get frustrated, congratulations. You're a business owner. Your mission on life in this world is to solve leads and labor. And heaven help you if that gets sold for other people. You now don't have a business. Your business will be taken away from you. So that is a very verbose, sort of harsh thing to say, but it really helps me understand. If I'm in a hiring process right now, a deep, deep, thoughtful hiring process,
Oh,
and
I
some
saw
days
I
get
saw your post. I saw your post, and I love. Yeah, yeah.
dude, and sometimes when it feels like you're exhausted and it's frustrating and you're not getting exactly what you want and you know that there's coaching and training ahead of you, congratulations. It's the benefit of being a business owner that you even get the opportunity to do this. So having said that, I have a lot of happy things to say. I got a lot of great data and feelings, but for me, that conversation as a real entrepreneur really does help me with saying the pain, the suffering, the friction. Congratulations. That comes with the ability to earn a mountain load of time and money freedom.
So I have a really quick thought to interject. just this morning, one of my very close friends, his name is Mike Siddell. He has built and sold multiple contracting businesses. The first one was like a water damage molds biohazard company, and sold it for millions and millions of dollars. He scaled it really big, really big, and that was his first business. He's on other things now, and he's out of the contracting space, but he's still a great friend of mine. And he had this post today that I thought was really in tune with what you're saying right now. And it was an analogy with baseball. He said, a baseball player can go to bat 100 times, hit the ball 30, have a failure rate of 70, and get inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I was like, wow, and he was basically was an analogy for business. Like, guys, in business, it is hard. You are going to fail, but like a baseball player, you need to get back up and get back at bat. And I thought it was a really clever analogy because, like, you know, I know for me, and I'm pretty sure for every business owner I've ever met, it seems like there are times where there's just more failures than there are successes. And I think and they're micro ones. I'm not saying, like, for me, true failure is giving up, right? I'm saying like stumble failures. You know, like, there's a problem. I hired somebody, and then a week into it, they failed. I hire a marketing agency. A week into it, they suck, right? I've launched this Facebook funnel and it doesn't work. I put money here, it doesn't work. I buy this piece of equipment and it breaks on the job first day. Like, all these things can happen. These are real world things, and they suck when they do, right? But I think the grit of the business owner that's willing to get back up at bat, like that baseball analogy, you're going to hit it out of the park sometimes. You're going to. But, like, to your point, it's hard if you just sit down because you got up to bat once and struck out and you don't get back up to bat. Of course you're going to lose because you didn't get back up.
Yeah. One of the greatest things that makes good entrepreneurs is enduring rejection. And you, as entrepreneurs, most of us are sellers. We have to be able to sell something. We have to sell the business to employees. We have to be able to sell the business to clients. We have to sell ourselves. And yeah, I mean, you take a look at the average residential repaint estimator. If they have a 50% success ratio, I would consider them very good. That means half of all the people that you talk to are going to say no to you. And when
I
you
would
look
even
at,
I
like,
would even say 30-40% would still be good. Not great, but good.
100%.
You
Yeah, it
know?
depends on
Yeah,
average job size, but yeah,
it
it's
does.
just it's complete. You are going to hear more no's than yeses. And when you want to take a look at the next data and feelings, if you take a look, I have a timekeeping app that basically has a record of every employee I've ever employed. Um, Sniff test on that the other day was, if you want to talk about how many I've tried to employ and how many are current employed, I probably have about an 8% success ratio with hiring painters.
I think that's a solid point. And a couple of the problems that I see, and I'm not sure if you know this about me, Nick, but I actually built and sold a recruiting company once. So um, I have a lot of data myself on hiring, just not specific for contractors. It was in a different industry, but humans are humans, and there are reasons for, gain want to be employed, and the way that they train and all that stuff. There's a lot of similarities, even when it's other industries.
Absolutely.
The nuance might be different, but the big picture stuff is the same. One of the things that I noticed is that when brands elevate their professionalism, and I know you talk about this all the time, I say the same thing in a slightly different way. You say professionalize your company, and I say let's increase the quality of your brand. Not branding, not
Yes.
your logo, but your brand
Yep.
voice, your brand vision, your brand story, right? The things you say, the things you do. And for me, it's like, how do people perceive you? And the interesting thing that I found when I was doing this recruiting company, and the reason I went down this path in the first place as a marketer, which I didn't even think I belonged there, but I found that by elevating the company's brands, I was able to 2 to 5x their ability to hire just by
Wow.
increasing their marketing, which was interesting. So by doing things like doing review campaigns to make sure that their online presence was great. No, I found a really interesting data point that I thought was critical. We always think about, like, Google reviews being important for leads, but I found a data point from Indeed. They did a giant study of hundreds of thousands of employees over years, a period of time, right? And they found that 91% of all employees, sometime between filling out the application and deciding to actually join the team, will look up the online reviews of that company.
Oh, 100%.
91%. And so all of a sudden, and it gets bigger than that. They're going to look at your website. They're going to look at your social media channels. They're going to look at your posts. They're going to look at your story. They're going to look at your videos. But it means that, like, you know, it's not the only thing, but like that is part of the equation. You have to just professionalize in your voice. You have to professionalize your company in everything that you do. And I think that that's a huge thing that will all by itself, all of a sudden start attracting better talent, because now you just are a better company. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for help growing your contracting business, I invite you to join my free community. In there, we go live with amazing trainings, share resources and downloads, plus you get free help from me and from peers. That link is down below to join, and we'll see you in the next video.